to another edition of the Don't Argue All, thanks to Palmer Bet. And it's finals, week one of the finals, and this bloke gets up and about for the finals. He
Here we
is
are.
Newcastle Knight superstar Kirk Gidley. Gids, it's been a big
Evening,
year.
Matty.
We know that, mate, but now the serious stuff starts, doesn't it?
Bloody oath it does, Matty. Mate, let's just get something clear here, mate. How is your tips from last week and your Matty's must-have? I know you're itching. Let's just get it straight off the top.
Do you know what? You were saying I was itching. I actually did realise till I sat in the seat here to start recording, and I've gone, hang on, I've picked 8 last week, and the Manny's must have saluted as well. So,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Surely
mate,
there's a
which is
few
about
viewers out
36.
there, mate, that have taken those
I hope
tips
so.
from
I hope
last
so.
week.
$36 it was
Unbelievable.
too, last week, mate. And the Maddies must have. It was a nice little price too. I think it was about $11, just taking the Roosters, Titans, Sharks, and Eels all at the line
Mate,
last week, and they've all saluted. So sometimes, kids, and we're coming good at the right time of the year.
you are. All I can do is sit back, mate, and applaud that. Mine, 5 from 8 and 0 from 3 in the Gids get on, unfortunately.
Mate, this is where you shine, big
This is
fella. The
where I'm
next
going to hit my
couple of
strap.
weeks.
So,
Hey,
bloody
where are
hell.
you this week too, kids? You're in another little
Mate, I'm
motel.
in
Where
I'm in the
do you?
hotel room. Yep. I'm in Muswellbrook, mate. Home of the Muswellbrook Rams here. Uh, Big coal mining town, mate. A couple of hours from Newcastle. Great little community, and mate, yep, doing a few talks, mate. A few pre-start talks to fire up the crews, mate, before they kick off their shift at about 6:30 in the mornings.
Geez, there's no doubt about you, mate. You will travel. You need to get your own travel show, I reckon, because you see a lot of
Yeah,
motels and a lot of different venues.
yeah.
There's no doubt
Let's
about you.
start that influencer.
Hey, listen, kids, let's have a recap of final round last weekend. And I'll tell you what, I want to get back to that Thursday night footy game. It was an absolute belter. And the Melbourne Storm, ever so shaky heading into a final series. Their last couple of weeks, kids, has been not what Craig Bellamy would want. But on the flip side, I was really impressed with the Broncos. They just looked up and about, and they were really getting around each other. I don't know. I reckon there's a bit of belief and they might cause a little bit of grief in the next couple of weeks, I reckon.
Well, for sure, mate. There's no doubt the Broncos are hitting their straps at the right time of the year. Michael Maguire done a great job there. They weren't looking too flash to start the year, but yeah, taking a little bit of time. But mate, they just look all on the same page and fast and dynamic. I thought there was a bit of a sliding doors moment, I guess. I think Broncos got 10 in the bin at one stage, and Melbourne had a chance to put a bit of pressure on. And then Nelson Sofa Solomona head
Copped
high,
it.
high contact, yeah, 10 in the bin as well, and it's cost himself and his team a couple of weeks. So he's a big body, he still does some damage, but that was a disappointing loss for as far as the 10 in the bin. Now he's missing. They did, mate. Harry Grant is just so important and influential in the Melbourne Storm team, and looks like he's back this week. So Jerome Hughes missing, not long into that game with looked like he was already carrying his shoulder injury, but also has got a fractured arm, fractured wrist. So he's going to be gone. So Storm are going to have to do it without their starting halfback as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big inclusion will be Harry Grant this week for the Melbourne Storm. I think he's the missing link at the moment. But geez, I reckon they got a little bit. I think they're lucky, to be honest. They're coming up against the Bulldogs this week. As if I reckon if it was Broncos or Raiders they were having to play, I wouldn't be as confident. But yeah, it's going to
Mm.
be interesting because they've been a bit disappointing the last couple of weeks. Hey, Adam Reynolds to come back into the Broncos side too. I think Mickey Maguire and the boys, they will be very, very happy heading into this final series. If they can, I think if they can upset or not upset, but if they can beat the Raiders in week one of the finals, gee whiz, sky's going to be the limit because they're going to get up and about, aren't they, the Bronx?
Yeah, they are. That'll give them that week off too. It's just, yeah, it's so important that first win to have a week off, refresh, and then you're only 1-1 away from the big one, the grand final. I'm just looking at the team sheet. I can't see Adam Reynolds being named in the top. 22 at the moment, so it
Righto.
doesn't look like
He's
he's been carrying that hamstring, I'm pretty sure, for a
yeah.
number of weeks now, and he's in or he's out, he's in or he's out, so it doesn't look like he's made the team. But Ben Hunt, starting halfback, not a bad replacement anyway. But I still
No,
think, mate, the Raiders deserve to be where they are. They rested a stack of guys last week in preparation for this game. It's at home, GIO Stadium, 4 o'clock kickoff, be sold out for sure. So I think it's the game of the round, that one for me.
oh, I can't wait for it. It's the final game, which we will get to a little bit later on, kids. But talking about
Mm,
teams that I reckon that are in good nick at the moment, and that is Cronulla, and that was a good win against the Bulldogs last week. They still had top four, possibly a possibility.
mm,
It only come down to points difference in the end, with the Broncos getting the job done. But yeah, I love what the Sharks did. Nico Hines was suspended for a week. They challenged. They've won the challenge, so he's available. He's playing, which is a
yeah,
massive plus two for the Sharks, isn't it? So they'll take even more
big
confidence
plus.
into this weekend.
Yeah, and I listened to a bit of radio on my early start in the car this morning, and hadn't sort of been challenged, I guess, that type of rule before. And I guess it sets a bit of a precedent going forward. But yeah, great for the Sharkies that Nico's able to play. Good dominant performance against the Dogs. Yeah, Dogs have been a little bit inconsistent, a little bit shaky over the last month, probably the last 2 months, to be fair, over the last 8 games they've played. And yeah, are they lacking a little bit of confidence and belief themselves? And I think that also has an influence on their competitors to say, right, this is the time to take on the Doggies. And can they continue their form that they've, I guess, been pretty consistent with from throughout the year into the semi-final series now?
And I think on the flip side, from the Bulldogs' point of view, Cam Ciraldo, like the Lockie Galvin switch midway through the year. So there's a little bit of obviously a spotlight on that. But it's also
Mm,
Matty Burton who just hasn't been able to kind of finish off sets. So there's a little bit of a blowtorch on the
there is.
Bulldogs, isn't there, heading into the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean the blowtorch comes on someone. That's for sure. It always comes on a team, and it is the Dogs. To be fair, at the moment, because those last 8 weeks, I think they've won maybe 4 of the 8 or 3 of the 8, but I think one of them was against, the reserve grade Penrith team, basically. So um, I'm not sure if this is the type of form that you'd want over the last couple of months leading into the semi-finals. But again, you know what? If I'm in the playing group, I'm saying everything that's happened over the last, 27 rounds is irrelevant now, and it's all starts fresh, and we've got to earn our stripes again. And they've got an opportunity this week to beat the Storm, have a week off, and go from there.
Kids, we're down to the final eight teams, and we know obviously the top four teams: Canberra Raiders, Melbourne Storm, Bulldogs, Broncos finish in the top four. Is there anyone else outside of that top four? Like I know, I reckon there's only one team I reckon outside that top four that can win it, and I think you're going to be on the same page. The Penrith Panthers are the ones that are sitting back. They've rested a few the last couple of weeks. They knew they couldn't finish any higher up on the ladder. They're the team I think that everybody is going to be worried about, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't we want to be playing Penrith at this stage of the year. I actually think it's a challenge they'll embrace now. They've been the form team. They've been top four finish. They've had the week off most years. They got through to the grand final after, 2 wins. So they've done it, I guess, the easier path, respectfully. I mean, least amount of games to get the grand final. This is the real challenge for them. I think they'll see it as a great new challenge that, okay, no other team, well, it's been rare that another team has gone from, the bottom four, the top 8, and got through and won a grand final. So
Hmm.
I think they'll see that as a great new challenge and something that they'll certainly step up for. So I wouldn't really want to be crossing paths with the Panthers, and I think they'll get the Warriors this week. They're short again for a reason.
Yeah, and kids, I just want to run through the Palmer bet market for the Premiership.
Mm,
And Canberra Raiders, they're our favourites at $3.80. Melbourne Storm are at $4. Brisbane Broncos at $6.10. Penrith Panthers $6.50. Canterbury Bulldogs at $10. Sydney Roosters $12. Cronulla Sharks at $26. And the New Zealand Warriors, they're the outsider at $81. So Panthers at
mm.
650. If you're keen for a 5p, they're nice value right now because if they come out and win convincingly against the Warriors, I think they're going to shorten probably into about $4 or something next week. So if you are keen, that'd be the way to go. The Sharks at $26, kids. I don't know. I reckon there's a little play there for mine. I reckon the Sharks have been going all right.
Well, they have been going all right, but they haven't genuinely, I guess, proved themselves during this final series, Matty. They've been right up there as a
Yeah,
top four team over the last few years, but they, they haven't really
stumbled.
cemented themselves. They haven't really cemented themselves as a top two team to be their grand final day yet.
Now, now here's some prices too. Just another market of Palmer bet, just off the cuff here. So to make the
Now, have a
grand
look at the
final,
markets. I'm on the app myself. Look at
I
these
know,
new
and
markets.
it's great though, isn't it? Just to
Future
actually have a look at
outright
some of
pick the
these.
nine markets, state of elimination.
Yeah, it's
Sensational.
and this is the one I thought was interesting too, just to make the grand final this year. So the Melbourne Storm, they're the equal favourites with the Raiders at $1.91 a piece. Then you got the Brisbane Broncos at $2.50, the Bulldogs at 3.75, the Penny Panthers at $4 just to make it. Sydney Roosters at $5.50, Sharks at $14, and the Warriors at $31. That's just to make the GF. We know the teams that finish in the top four have obviously got a little bit of an advantage and obviously got that double chance as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I just reckon there's some, if you're looking for some futures markets, there's
Yeah,
plenty of options on that Palmer Bet app, isn't there, kids?
there is to make this the drop down tab here to make the grand final. There's top finals try scorer. There's the exacta. There's Cornellis. It's nice. There's
No,
Clive
there's
Churchill
plenty.
medalist. Here we go. Clive Churchill medalist. Nathan Cleary,
Give me
1150.
those
Cam
odds.
Munster. Yep. Nathan Cleary, 1150. Cam Munster, 1250. Harry Grant, $13. Joseph Tarpany, 15. Your man Pappenhausen, 16. Jamal Fogarty, 16. Reece Walsh, 16. Ethan Strain, 16.
There's some value to be had there, isn't there, kids? Like,
There it is. The
you just
Palmerbet staff that have been on fire in the background here.
I love it, mate. Hey, listen, let's turn our attention to this week's first week of the final series. And it is going to be a cracker. And we both said this off air that these four games are all going to be absolute rippers, I reckon. And they've all got good stories to them as well. It all starts Friday night, and it's the Storm taking on the Bulldogs at Amy Park in Melbourne. This will be a sellout. There's no AFL in Melbourne this weekend. So Melbourne loves their
Well,
sport and they will get along, kids, and they will absolutely get behind their Melbourne Storm. So the Palmerbet market has the Storm at $1.49, the Bulldogs at $2.63. The line here is 5.5 points, and the total points over under is 38.5. Now, last time these two sides met, it was in round 25, not that long ago this year, and it was the Melbourne Storm 2014 at home, getting the job done in a tight one. And then round six last year, so a long, long time ago, it was a 2 point victory to the Storm over the Bulldogs. So they've been pretty tight contests. Are we expecting another tight contest here, kids? Or are we expecting the Storm to blow out? Myself personally, I reckon they've been challenged a bit by Craig Bellamy over the last couple of weeks, and I've got a feeling that the Storm are going to bounce back hard first week of the finals and make a statement.
yeah, I'd expect that, Matty, for sure. But I still think Bulldogs, over the last couple of years, statistically, they've been one of the better defensive teams in the competition. Both great defensive teams. The last couple of weeks, the Storm, they've conceded 70 points, which is just totally against the Storm's DNA and everything that they've done over the last 10 years. So you'd expect this to be a huge game in the first game of the round. They are missing Pappenhausen. They are missing Jerome Hughes. But one of their great leaders, their captain, Harry Grant, is back this week and just work rate wise,
Important player,
influence on his
mate.
teammates,
Yeah.
leadership. You'll have a huge part to play in turning those last nasty couple of weeks around for the Melbourne Storm this week. I see Jonah Pizzette is on the bench this week to cover for Tyron Wishart if there's any moves that Craig Bellamy has planned for him in the halves. So he's obviously going to use Jonah Pizzette off the bench, who's a classy young halfback. Big game. I'm still leaning towards Storm just because of the history, mate, that they've had in semi-final series and Storm in a close one, 1-12.
I'm Storm too, but I'm actually going the other way, Gids. I'm thinking statement game, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking 13 plus. I reckon,
Ooh.
and I'm happy to.
Well, that'll.
And I'm confident too, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. If it's 13 plus the Storm, puts a stack of pressure and headlines on the Dogs the following week. They could be bowled out clean sets.
Yeah, be amazing. There'll be storylines coming this next couple of
Mm,
weeks, I can assure you. But yeah, you're Storm in a tight one. I'm Storm 13 plus to get the job done in that game against the Bulldogs on Friday night. Let's go to Saturday, and this will be a cracker too. Warriors, who have been really good but struggled at home again, just at stages. They take on the
I have.
Panthers this Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, 4:05 at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. The Warriors here, $3.72. That is juicy odds. The Panthers, they are short, $1.28. The line, it's solid, 10.5 points. Total points over under is 43.5. Last time these two sides met, round 16 this year. It was a 28-18 victory. Panthers over the Warriors, who were playing at home in New Zealand, Gids. So same as what we're copying this Saturday. And then round 11 last year was a 2-point victory. The Warriors upset the Panthers in a real tight one. We just touched on the fact that they're a really dangerous side, Penrith, and I expect them to get the job done against the Warriors, who have been just a touch disappointing. I reckon they've just faded ever so slightly in the back half of the season, haven't they?
Yeah, they have a bit, Matty, for sure. Look, it's a big task for the Panthers to go over to New Zealand. That type of travel, I
Yep.
know they're experienced that many of them have done it before, but it's going to be packed. It'll be sold out there at Go Media Stadium. It'll be vocal, a lot of support for the Warriors, obviously. So big task, I still think, for the Panthers to get up this one. I mean, the Warriors could pull anything out of the bag. There's no doubt about that. But I just think, again, with the experience of the Panthers and what they've done over the last 5 years, I have to tip the Panthers in this one. I still think it's going to be a close one though, 112.
I'm going 13 plus Panthers Gids. And you're looking at me going, what the hell are you doing?
Holy.
But and yeah, and it's those two teams. So the first two games, 13 plus is going to be my Matty's must
Mm,
have for the week. So they're the two that I'm super keen on to get the job done. So and I'm happy to play around it. So yeah, look, I hope it's a close, cracking contest, but I've just got a feeling I reckon Penrith have really set themselves for this next couple of weeks. So we'll certainly know more after Saturday afternoon. Hey, Sharks take on the Roosters. This will be one of the matches of the round for mine. I'm looking forward. I reckon these last two games are going to be really, really tight. Saturday night, Sharks Stadium in Sydney, head to head, the Sharks at 202, Roosters at $1.82, who have been really good the last couple of weeks. The line, well, it doesn't get much tighter than this, 1.5 points, and the total points over under is 46.5 points. Last time these two sides met, it was in round 20 Gids this year, and it was the Sharks 31-18 over the Roosters. I reckon the Roosters went on a bit of a run after that loss. And then in round 12,
mm,
earlier this year, the Roosters absolutely towed up the Sharks 42-16. So this year it's one apiece. Gids, hard to kind
mm.
of separate these two sides. I reckon Nico Hines in that side for Cronulla is a really big in. I'm sticking Sharks here, Gids. This will be tight, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sticking Sharks in a tight one, mate, to cause a little mini upset. I can't believe the price of $2 you're getting for Cronulla.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, the Sharks have been the more consistent team. I think Matty have played probably better form. I know the Roosters, it's been a bit of a transition year for them with a lot of new players, and if done really well to number one, make the eight, um, but could probably do some damage with the list of players that they've named there this week. So I think it's another tight one to try and tip. I think the Nico Hines inclusion is a big one for the Sharks from his skill set, number one, but his game planning, his influence on his teammates. Oh, I'm going to stick with my original one, which was the Roosters.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, look at the team list and the Sharks at home, it's a tough one to tip against the Sharks, but I am going to go for the Roosters in this one.
Now, Gids, their capacity, so it's interesting the Sharks play at home. What's their capacity in the stadium? Is it 12,000 or 15,000? It's not much, is it?
No, it's not much. I don't know the capacity, but I heard, you know, some talk on the radio this week, some talk back, and the, the professionals talking around, the lack of people that are going to be able to go to this game, which is
Yeah,
disappointing for for the supporters who want to go and see their team play in a home semi-final. For the people that are there, it's going to be great. For the players, I guess it's great that they can play at their home ground. But there's a whole chunk of people that are going to miss out going to this game, which could have been a much bigger performance at Allianz Stadium or Combank Stadium,
yeah,
where it would have
I
been able
agree.
to fill 30, 35,000, 40,000.
Yeah, and would have
But
got
I
it
guess that's
too, to be honest.
unless the NRL come in and change the rules and these semi-finals have to be a minimum, 32, 35,000 seat stadium. Then we'll see these type of regional type stadiums be there for the home semi-final.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, mate. I just reckon the Allianz Stadium would have been the go for this one, and just try and fill it up, and the atmosphere would be electric, which it still will be. Don't worry about that.
Mhm.
But yeah, interesting. Sharks for me, Roosters for you. Let's go to the final game. Raiders taking on the Broncos. Raiders have been sensational. This is Sunday afternoon. They had the choice, the Raiders. They wanted this time slot. That was their choice from Sticky. So 405 GIO Stadium in Canberra, head to head. Raiders $1.69. The Broncos at $2.25. The line here is tight, 3.5 points. Total points over under is 44.5 points. Gids, last time these two sides met, round two this year. So a long, long time ago. And it was the Raiders 32-22 at home, getting the job done against the Broncos. And in round seven last year, 2024, it was the Broncos 34-10, defeating the Raiders. This is going to be a belter. Two really good sides that I reckon are in form at the right time of the year, Gids. And whoever wins this one, I reckon deserves to be the premiership favourite after Sunday.
They do, Matty, for sure. Look, Gemma Shibasaki was stood down there last week. He's back in the team, but obviously Broncos have had a fair turnaround here. They played last Thursday night, so they're not playing until Sunday, so they're going to be pretty fresh themselves. Obviously, Sticky, he rested most of those guys. I think there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 12 guys who are straight back into majority of those guys in a starting team, a couple on the bench. So they'll be nice and fresh, 2 weeks off basically for those Raiders players to come into this one nice and fresh and fired up. So, yeah, big contest, match of the round for me. And I'm going to stick with the minor premiers. I think they deserve to secure that, number one, and they deserve this home semi-final, which will be sold out as well at GIO Stadium Sunday afternoon. I'll stick with the Raiders again in a tight one, 1-12.
I'm torn with this one, but I've gone with the Broncos, mate, and purely off the back of what I saw last week. I love what they did. I love the way they were up and about. They were getting around each other. They were really fired up. They wanted to make a
Mm.
bit of a statement against Melbourne last week, and that's the thing that got me, Gids, because you don't see that a lot from the Broncos, or have it in the last couple of years. But I just, they were the couple of tackles and stuff like that, and they were all getting around each other, and they were really amped and I think if they can
Yeah.
continue and bring that, I think that they are the real deal. And as I said, I reckon whoever wins this will be the premiership favourite come Monday morning. I reckon.
Yeah, look, I agree with the energy that the Broncos are displaying throughout the game. I just think the Raiders, they're tough, they're gritty, they're resilient,
Yeah.
offloads. I think they can, if that doesn't work for the Broncos early, that type of energy and execution of plays, then I think long term, over 80 minutes, that
Yeah.
the Raiders are happy to grind that out and play tough and gritty, and I think that's going to be too tough for the Bronx.
What a season for Ricky Stewart and the Canberra Raiders. And
Yeah.
gee whiz, if they win Sunday, Gids, and they go to a prelim final, which they'll get another home one in a couple of weeks' time, phew, it'll just the town of Canberra will be up and about, mate. The pollies will be calling for
Oh,
public holidays and everything. They'll be loving it.
Well, they got the power to do that. They'll probably call one. But no, I think this is the. I think I heard during the week that this is the first time Raiders and Broncos have met in a semi-final since 95.
Oh
95, I
wow,
think it was. Yeah.
that's big. That's
So big,
exciting.
yeah, quite an unbelievable stat. So yeah, two cracking
Right.
teams. They were two in the 90s. A lot of success, and she's all on again this Sunday afternoon.
That would have been back in Mel Meninga days, I reckon, for the Canberra
Absolutely, Ricky
Raiders.
Stewart days.
Ricky Stewart days, mate. Righto, what's your pick for? What value? How much value are we getting at Palmerbet this week? And the Gids get on, big fella.
Let me just get to my selections made for this week, and it is I've got Storm, Panthers, Roosters, Raiders, and you just punch in yours, mate. I'm going to select those in the Palmbet app.
That's how easy it is. Just download that app and get involved today. I've gone, so Gids
What's
for
yours, mate?
my pick four, I've gone Storm, Panthers, Sharks, Broncos. So a little bit of value there with a couple of teams. In the last two games in particular, I've gone the two outsiders, $5.98 on the Palmerbet app. Gids, what about you, buddy?
Mate, I am selecting those ones. I am coming in at $5.68. Pretty short.
That's short enough, mate. But I'll
Pretty
tell you what,
short.
doesn't matter if you get the 4 out of 4. Who cares, mate? We're very similar. So 568 v 598 for a couple of different selections. Righto, what's the Gids get on this week, big fella?
Mate, the Gids get on is I'm going to the match of the round Sunday afternoon. Raiders 1 to 12. Anytime try scorers. Tony Staggs, Hudson Young.
Love it, Gids.
I'm gonna punch
Absolutely.
that in.
You punch that one in, mate. For the people
You
following
punch it.
Matty's must have, and I give this a little bit of a push earlier. I'm happy to be playing around this, and to be honest, I can't believe the price that we are getting at Palmerbet. So Storm for me 13 plus, Panthers 13 plus to get the job done. So both the first two finals games, I'm super duper keen. $8.66 at Palmerbet. That is a play, and I'm happy to be sitting back and watching that.
$8.56.
That is a good price for my Gids, and I'm happy to be having a little bit of a look at that. That is for sure. Downloading that Palmerbet app and having a little bit of fun. There are so many options, as we went through before. But as we always say, think, is that the bet you really want to have? Gids, what do you got for us, buddy?
Mate, the Gids get on. Canberra 1 to 12. Hudson Young, Tony Staggs, $22.95.
Oh,
Three-legger. Real nice.
yes. I'll tell
Real
you what,
nice.
I said off the top, you come to the fore at this time of the year, mate. You're a finals player, that is for sure. What's your lock for the week, Gids?
Lock is Panthers, mate. I know I think the Wars will be tough over there, big crowd, vocal crowd, but I still think I just think they'll be galvanised and they'll embrace this new challenge of coming from the bottom four of the top 8 to try and get there for the grand final and take it out.
Mate, I'm with you, and I think they're going to be one of the stories. Don't worry about that. And as I said, no one wants to play them. I've gone Storm. Storm will bounce back. They'll beat the Bulldogs and get the job done. And I'm thinking convincingly. So that is my lock for the week. Gids, week one of the finals, we're going to know a hell of a lot more, and things could change. The season thus far has thrown up so many different results and so many different things. So who knows? We could be absolutely gobsmacked by the end of this weekend. Nothing would surprise us. It's been that season, mate. And I can't wait for it, buddy.
Nah, for sure, mate. Looking forward to the semi-finals, mate, this weekend. Who knows what the headlines are going to be next week, but there could be a couple of teams under pressure, that's for sure, who finished potentially in that top 4 and will have to win next week to keep going. So, yep, looking forward to the weekend, mate, and let's get it on.
Good on you, Gids. Can't wait for it, mate. We'll talk next week, buddy.
Have a good one.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.